Hey Amit, welcome to The Hype is Real with Outplay and Rev Genius. This is a season one of the podcast where we talk to the real hype, crazy growing startup founders like you to uncover what it takes to build such products, teams, and organizations as a whole when we say the hype is real, right? And Gong is one of those companies that we all love and follow. And happy to have you as our first guest. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, I'm excited and I love the name. The hype is real. So it's good, great to be here. I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful. So today, we both Jared and me are hosting the show. My name is Lakshman. I'm the founder and CEO at Outplay. It's a sales engagement platform. Over to you, Jared.
Hey, I'm co-founder of Rev Genius, and I wore these sunglasses to try to be in line with you, Amit. Like you have such a cool brand for yourself and for your company, and I appreciate that.
Do you want me to get mine? I got a new one. It's more like pink to be like on brand.
Yeah.
Blue. All right, I get them.
Absolutely, and so I'm co-founder of Rev Genius. We're a community of sales, marketing, rev ops, customer success pros, and we exist to bring inspiration and creativity to all revenue professionals around the world. And it's exciting to be talking to you today because I know your mission is pretty strong as well.
Well, I appreciate your mission. I mean, it's a good cause. And if I could contribute something that, I'll consider myself lucky.
Wonderful.
The luck is all ours.
And Amit, for those who don't know who is Amit and what is Gong, can we do a real quick intro?
Yeah, sure. So Gong is a SaaS company that has like a revenue intelligence product that helps companies use reality to be better companies and better individuals to improve their performance, mostly in sales, customer success, and support. What the system does is actually understands what's happening between customer-facing people and the customers themselves in a way that is like unbiased and lossless, right? And turns it into insights that helps companies become better.
Wonderful. And so is it like a middle of the night you just woke up and said, let's build Gong? Or what's the story?
It was in the middle of the night. If I could use, it was a shitty quarter that actually led to the beginning of Gong. So I was like, before Gong, I was like a CEO of another company in the business intelligence space. We're actually growing pretty fast. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we had like a really like bad quarter. And I had no idea what was going on as a CEO, right? So we looked obviously at all the metrics like everybody does from the CRM. Do we have like enough leads, enough calls, enough people, right? And those were kind of like okay, right? So I realized that the issue is not like the level of activity or how much activity we're doing, but actually the quality. Are we asking the right questions? Are we talking to the right customers? Are we properly qualifying the opportunities? There are a lot of finger pointing between like marketing and sales, and I was in the middle and couldn't understand what's going on. Is it the leads aren't good or the salespeople aren't doing a great job? And then it dawned on me that kind of like all we have is CRM. Is CRM is kind of like is okay. It's a system of record, but only told you like who bought and who didn't buy, right? And beside that, there's not much there, right? And everything else depends on the salespeople putting in the information, and they hate it, right? And they just don't have enough time. It doesn't serve them in a particular way. They're doing it because we forced them, right? So then I thought there's got to be something that captures information directly at the source, right? Without putting the onus on the poor reps, right? Or the customer success. Also, we also had like churn issues that we wanted to understand. And I didn't have time to ask around. People think of it Gong as a recording platform. We actually, at that company, we're recording all calls, but nobody had the time to go and listen to like 1,000 calls or read 1,000 transcripts. I mean, that was like not what we're looking. So I wanted something to tell me quickly, like what's going on without going and asking around and while listening to 1,000 calls. That was the impetus.
Such a good impetus. And about 5-10 years ago, when I was in AE, I was literally asked in an interview, what's your biggest weakness? And my response was, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just give this guy, I'm going to just shoot it straight. I said, admin work. And his response was, yeah, I'm not worried about that. All the best reps are bad at that. On the interview.
Right. Right.
So it's so funny. And now that's no longer an excuse, but okay. So you have this idea, Gong. You want to make the recordings that you have more actionable. And you separate from this bigger company, you go off on your own, and now you're in founder sales. Your first 100 customers, how does that go? You're probably directly involved with the first 100. Walk us through how you went through this. Do you have the time to listen to your own product on yourself? What's the Amit cold call like? How does that go?
So so maybe I'll take a step back. Before we started, actually, I had this idea, right? But I think what has been a good practice, I actually called 50 sales leaders or so before, and I told them, hey, we're thinking about building this product that will tell you what's going on without anybody having to do anything. What do you think? It uses natural language understanding and just to kind of validate the idea, right? So, because a lot of people have great ideas, but then they find out that's, they might be the only one in the world, or maybe there is a dozen others, but there isn't a market for that, or the market isn't willing to pay something to make it financially viable. So that was a first phase that we, even before starting the company, my co-founder and I did. And that was a good indication. Because everybody said, we want something like that. It sounds too good to be true. How would it work? It's very nuanced. So they had a good amount of objections, but they said yes, right? And that yes is important to hear, because some people just rush to start a company and then ended up that there's no market for that, right? So we started a company, and then our first dozen or so customers were beta testers, right? So these are design partners, they're not sold. And actually for the first year, we were not planning on selling anything. We just wanted to train the AI model, and even that was hard. It was hard to get people to use the product for free as a design partner. But at that point, I did what every startup does, right? You beg, steal, and bribe, right? This is so it's friends and family, people that I know, kind of that owe me something. Use emotional extortion, guilt, whatever, right? You just get them to do you a favor and use the product, right? People think because something is free, people are going to use it. No, people's problem is time, not money. So that was it. So we actually put it in the hands of about a dozen companies through our network, right? Either myself or some of the team members. And these were kind of smaller SaaS companies that were open-minded. And we let them use it. And we're planning to run this for about a year. But then something strange happened. Right? After 3 months, we started getting email from reps, right, that they're using the product. It says, oh, well, Gong didn't record that call, or it was 5 minutes late, or actually stayed. And obviously the engineers got a little nervous and said, that's great, right? I mean, because what's the worst thing, what's worse than people complaining? And it's people not complaining, right? When people complain, it shows that they care, right? We actually did not think that the reps are going to use it a whole lot, right? But then we started looking at the logs. So when they complain, it's actually a very good signal, right? Because they want it to work, right? And they care. So we fine-tuned the user interface, which at that point was a little clunky, and we got a little more engagement, and we fine-tuned a little more. We kind of moved the buttons around. We made the labels a little clearer. Nothing earth-shattering, but and then engagement went up. And now, so we launched like we launched like mid-January 2016, not launched, the beta, right? And we told everybody you can use it for a year for free. And then around April, engagement was kind of interesting. So out of like pure curiosity, like I was telling my partner, Elon, you know what, let's do like a trial close. Let's see what happens, right? And just, we wanted to know if we have a product that has like enough value that people would be willing to pay. You know, we didn't need the money, and we had money. It was just kind of to understand, do we have something that's valuable enough? We assume that we don't, right? So and we thought actually about the pricing. So the pricing was around like 30 to 50,000 per company, which struck us as, you know, this was an experiment. So if we charge for $1 million, everybody said, get the hell out of here, right? And if we charge like 1,000, everybody's going to buy, and that's going to tell us anything. So we wanted something that's like somewhat painful, but not overly painful, right? That is like a company can, you know, allocate that budget. So we reached out to all our dozen buyers and said like, hey, everybody, like, we're sorry, the beta is over. It's time to buy. Right. Everybody hated us, right, for doing it, which was good, right? And 11 out of 12 bought within like a month. I think by May we got our first order. By June we had 11 paying customers. And there we're looking at each other, Alon and I, says, oh wow, like, this is beyond expectation. People are actually paying despite us being annoying. It means that the product is like, it's something that looks like maybe like a nice to have. Remember, we had to beg people to use it like early on because it was hard to grasp. Like it does something that when you use it, you understand, but before that, it's hard to understand the experience. And then just as a fun fact, like the 12 customer did buy a year later, actually for a lot more, but they felt it's expensive at that time. But 11 out of 12 says, okay, like this is good, right? And so that's how we got the first customers, friends and family, right? But we kind of like asked for their business like pretty early, just to see if we have something or not. What we wanted, if people would say no, right? The important stuff was say like, okay, what do we miss, right? Where's the gap in a product that people will get people to a yes? That was like the real intent, kind of like, but actually it was more successful than we thought. I'll pause here. At that point, we had like no pipeline, no marketing. That was it. We had like 11 paying customers, but nothing else.
You got 12 leads and 11 paying customers.
Yeah.
From 11 to 100, what did that look like? Was it word of mouth, or did you start building pipeline, or did you start hiring, or?
No, there was elbow grease. So there's no word of mouth. So I did like two things. So I hired like 2 or 3 friends as consultants. One to do marketing. This is like Udi Ledegor is now our CMO, and says like we work together at like 2 companies. Says, hey, can you help me with some freelance work to run some lead gen campaigns for us? And these were like people coming to our website, and we had like a thing like a Calendly kind of thing that'll go directly to my website, to my calendar. So I was fielding the calls, and I would get like sometimes like a dozen a day. So that was good. And I also hired Brendan Cassidy, who worked with one of my executives to do some outreach and kind of SDR. Per hire, right? That did some lead gens for us, and that started like bringing some calls. All these like 3 together got us with some kind of pipeline. It took us a while to understand like who we're selling to, and so we had like a great beginning, right? And then I started getting some calls. We didn't know exactly first like how to pitch the product, so because it has like 100 benefits, right? it helps product, it helps marketing, it helps customer success, it helps sales. Like it does this, right? Do you explain it technically? Do you understand the value, right? One is like too vague, the other is too technical. So define kind of like the middle ground, and most of the leads that we got were actually like sales operation people, which makes a ton of sense. But there was a big issue with that. None of them bought. They all told us like that. Oh, this is super cool technology, but we have 2 or 3 other projects right now, and so maybe talk to me like in 6 months, and which is kind of the kiss of death, right? This is like and plus it's expensive, right? It was like I think like $65 a month, right? At that time, that's what our asking price was, and it says it's too expensive. So those things are, it kills you to hear that, right? But fortunately, we had Gong, right? So we were and we're getting it a matter of like 6 weeks or so. I remember it was still like in the summer. So we got the first customer in June, and then during the summer we started getting those meetings, right? Sales operations were like very easy to get a meeting because they'd be interested. But then we realized, okay, because we had like 40 of these conversations in a period of about 6 weeks. And all of them kind of say exactly the same thing. This is super cool. I have 2 or 3 other projects, and $65 is a lot, right? But so fortunately, we're able to see a pattern, right? If you get one of those, you don't know. But if everybody kind of say the same, it's just impossible that everybody has like 2 or 3 other projects. And we said, okay, we're kind of barking up the wrong tree. And then we realized that we need to sell to CROs. We still just do, we work like with sales operations like great today, but it's not our entry point because it's always like, and they're right. I mean, they're overworked. They have like a lot more work than they can handle. They're the kind of the responsible people with a spreadsheet and a budget, right? And it's not. And Gong is kind of, at least like early on, was kind of hard to get, right? Do I really need this or not, right? And you knew that if you don't experiment, you don't know that you need it.
Yeah. So was it more around good to have a product versus a must have kind of a thing that you faced?
Yeah, it was. So I say Gong is like a dishwasher, right? You don't need it, right? I mean, you could do fine without it, but once it's in, like you're not going back, right? So that was our challenge, right? That we knew how good it was. People that use it, remember the beta customer that kind of did us a favor, we had to twist their arm to use the product. They hated us for stopping the beta and actually paid substantial amounts, right? Because they do not want not to have it, right? And to this day, like, we have very, very little churn, right? Despite have like, there are cheaper options in the market and all of that, just, very few people just go back, and almost nobody goes back to nothing. Maybe they'll go for something like way cheaper or free, but,
Sure.
So that was clear, and we couldn't make that. At least we weren't successful in convincing like operations leader that they're doing kind of, it's the leader is setting the agenda and say, we need like a quota management system, we need a commission management system, we need we never like a lead database. We were always like, we're not a priority because they didn't necessarily like own the number, they didn't. They saw as a nice to have, right? Today it's like somewhat different, but fortunately because we had Gong, right? We knew that actually, hey, wait a minute, we're getting like a very consistent answer. It's literally identical. So we knew, okay, we need to change like who we're selling to, and it was harder. It's harder to reach out to a sales leader than a sales operations leader. Yeah. But we said, okay, we're gonna make the extra effort But once we started talking to CROs and chief sales officer, from that point on, it was like a lot easier.
Nice. And so you had something sticky, and let's go into like the wow factor, right? Because you very much did create a category, and you know, a friend, Chris Lockheed, who wrote a book I love, Play Bigger, talks about when you make a category, this is the best marketing you could do, right? Salesforce with software as a service, and then so on and so forth. Now, you started humbly, as we all do, and now you're sitting at $7.25 billion in valuation, 2,000 customers, all of this. You know, what are some of the big reasons when all the competitors came in that you kept that advantage? And if there's any like secret sauce takeaways that you have, and I noticed the branding and all of that comes up. I see you have your head of content saying he wants to be the first B2B marketer sponsored by a shoe deal. You all went from a really great product, or that evolved to a great product, to a really great brand. And I'd love to hear, you know, some of the secret sauces there that helped make that happen and help you maintain that lead when others came in.
Yeah, actually, it's not a secret. I mean, these are pretty basic, right? But I mean, it's harder. It's easy to explain. It's harder to execute, right? So that's the hard part. So there are a few things. Where do I start? First, it's the determination, and I actually remember my story. I was looking for something I wasn't looking to start a company. I had a shitty quarter and I was looking for something to give me the information. I started Googling, right? And I couldn't find anything. So, hey, maybe there is a company here. And then I validated, then we did the beta, right? After we did that, we found it actually, wow, there are some others in the market who were doing it, right? And at that point, I remember it was like January 17th. We still have it recording in Gong. It was like the all hands call. So well, listen, company, by the end of this year, we had a revenue goal, which was pretty ambitious. I said that there's only one thing that matters. By the end of this year, we're going to be number one. We're going to be the undisputed leader, right? Or personally, I'm not interested in this company. Right? We will not be in a two-horse race. So there are a lot of examples of companies like in a two-horse race, which end up nobody wins. It's a race to the bottom. They're cutting each other. And usually the leader in SaaS takes 60% of the profits, right? It might be a lower market share. Maybe, Salesforce probably 20% market share in CRM last time I've checked. But in terms of the interesting revenue is theirs, right? So we will be by the end of this year. It's the realization that you cannot be in a two-horse race, no matter what. They're definitely not in a three-horse race, right? As the infamous movie says, there is, second prize is a set of steak knives. This is it. I'm not working 16, 17 hours a day for this, right? I'll work 24 hours, but I want the grand prize. So this is the realization that you have to break away fast, right? And you could be whatever it is, right? You could be better, easier to use, different, better for a certain type of the population. But you have to understand your difference, right? We wanted to be the best, right? Just absolutely the best. Others can be the cheapest, right? And that is being the realization number one. You have to be a leader fast, right? And it gets easier because at some point where the difference is becoming clear, in the early days, it's not clear, then more people want to buy from you, right? Because, okay, this is the horse we're betting on. This is what the ecosystem starts to develop and support, and it becomes easier. So you have to fight really hard early days. So that's number one. You must be the leader, known for something. Second, my approach is kind of to out-market and out-engineer everybody. So the aim is to try to create a product that is so good that even a mediocre go-to-market team can push it. And at the same time, create a go-to-market team that is so good that they can push a mediocre product, right? And if you nail these two together, then you have something that's explosive, right? And I think people think, okay, Gong's marketing is amazing, and it is. It's not apologetic, but it's not just the marketing, because in the end, everybody that buys Gong also looks at other options, right? If we were like the better marketing, that what gets people to us. But in the evaluation, we would lose. So the other options are cheaper, right? And if we're not better, who in their right mind would buy? Why would they buy Gong? Because of our cool logo, right? These are our colors. This is so you have to out engineer and out market and focus on these two, and you have a good team. And three is the caliber of the team at Gong. So this is my fourth company, right? I've not started for the first time, and I knew that when you grow fast, you need to hire really great leaders. So from early on, we bought very senior people. We got Iran, who was COO at Adobe, Ryan Longfield, CRO, who was he managed $300 million at LinkedIn, right? And we bought him to Gong. We're $5 million, right? Tim Reeders, our CFO, he mentioned $1.5 billion, and we're probably $9 million when I started talking to. So you try. Again, sell the dream and get people to go back to changing diapers so they can build their organization fast and bring the talent. So all these things, right? The realization you have to be a leader, no matter what. Second, out-market engineer. Three, kind of the caliber of the team at fast growth is key.
Yeah, wonderful. Those are the three key points. Thanks for sharing those. They're really awesome. And you said you have to grow fast. That's what you did in the meeting, right? And when you're trying to grow fast, at the same time, I'm sure, though you're a seasoned leader, this is the fourth company, you've hired all the best people in the world, but still you'd have made a lot of mistakes on the way, right? So do you recall any of the one or two top mistakes that you kind of made? And if you go back, probably, how would you correct them?
Okay, this is going to sound unreal. We made a lot of small mistakes, or some hires here and there. We have not yet. We could, right? We have not yet made a big mistake, right? And I think it's the credit goes to the team, right? At Gong, we have we have a great team, and part of the adventure is when you sit around the table, right, to make decisions, right? That hopefully there is enough CPU power around there, and a diversity of opinion. You weigh things from all direction, and then you make the right call. And this is important. I think that we've made kind of the right decisions at almost any given point. There's early days, we actually people think that transcription is the key for Gong. Actually, transcription is not a core competency of Gong. We have our own, but when we started, we actually used something else, right? Because Elon, my co-founder, he was smart enough, and he said listen, the difference between our own and a Google is maybe 7%. The difference would be from 73% to 77% of accuracy, right? I don't want to spend our Series A money on 7%. I mean, if it's 99%, it's something, but it's not a huge difference. So actually the competition started, they created their own, they spent time creating something. And we said we just want to see what people will pay for first, right? And we didn't even show the transcript, right? Because we knew that once you see it, people will see a lot of flows. It actually creates a poor user experience. If you show it, people see the flaws. You don't show it, people, oh, this is amazing. So that was a good call that we made early on, right? And then at any given time, we actually decided we're not going to have our telephony system, right? The others wanted to have their own telephony. They waste a lot of time and engineering resources. So I think in any junction, and if you look at most successful companies, right, whether it's by pure luck or smarts, right, I don't know, but at almost any decision point, any junction, they kind of took the right turn, right? Google decided to build their own hardware, right, which is maybe it could have been a wrong decision, but it actually turned out okay because they could scale right? And companies like, they can probably do like one or maybe like two major mistakes. This is it. Like from that point, they may not die, but will never be great again. Like it's hard. I'm knocking on wood. So far, I think the big decisions we kind of did okay.
That's a smart move, not to build and use whatever it is, and the better is not showing the flaws, right?
Right. So it's counterintuitive, but that's what a lot of people would do. We actually interviewed a lot of people like before that in industry, and they kind of gave us the tips. Everybody, like when they think of something like Gongs, oh, can you do it real time? Right.
Okay.
And so did we. We didn't understand it, but we interviewed actually people at the contest. So this is a selling feature, and nobody uses it because, like, first you need someone who will monitor like 50 calls in real time. Like, do managers really want that? And second, that the kind of value that you get, the things that you can say in real time aren't profound, right? And they more of a distraction in value. So we decided, no, we're not going to do real time, and either try to do it and it didn't work, right? So all these things, we actually took the time to study and understand what really matters to people. What would they pay for? And that was that was key to getting the traction early.
Wonderful. That's a smart move. And going a little bit off the business side, being a CEO of such a crazy growing company with almost 1,000 employees, 2,000 customers, 500 million funding, 7.5 billion valuation. How does your day look like? Like, are you the crazy person that works 24/7, or you work 9 hours, or how does your day look like?
Not 24 on 7, like 19 7. So, well, it's interesting. So first, like I don't sleep a lot. It has nothing to do with Gong. I just kind of like always like on the move. And now kind of like my day is interesting because not everyone knows it, but our product team is based in Israel and our all go-to-market team is in the US. We recently opened like an office in Dublin and we're about 20 people over there, which is great. And I used to travel a lot. So I used to spend my time half and half, like in San Francisco and half in Tel Aviv with my family. Now it's kind of interesting, right? So my mornings are 2 days a week. I go to the office, like in Israel, to work with the R&D team. Again, not that I really need to be there, but just kind of to show, go like high five people and be present. But my workday usually starts at like 5 p.m., whereas I usually like West Coast time and until like midnight or 1 a.m. I exercise a lot. So I would do like at least like 7 or 8 sessions a week, right? So like definitely every day, a lot of time like 2 and sometimes like 3 times a day. And this is usually during the morning time. So mornings are a little easier for me. I do wake up early and I go to sleep late.
Nice. So you're still working how many hours? Like more than 10 hours?
Yeah, I don't necessarily measure. I don't know. It's like it's 24/7. It's the mindset, right? You're always like the engine is always on, right? Like even when I go to like a Pilates class and my trainer who says, "I see where your head is," like you're thinking about work, aren't you? Right? So it's always on. But definitely like the hours. I will say like 2 things. First, I have like an incredible leadership team, an incredible team, not just the leadership, right? I could take like 30 days off, like off the grid, right? And everything would work just fine.
Wow,
the team doesn't
dream
need
of every
me,
founder,
right? Yeah, so that's like a sign. And I tell it to my managers, like if you cannot afford to take like 30 days off, right? Something is wrong. Either you don't have the right people, you have not set the right process, or you're not empowering them. So you need to be able to take 30 days off. That's a good test if you have the team. And so yeah, I'm just really I'm blessed to have a team that allows me to focus on the direction of the company, on business development, on team development. Right, these are the things that really. Where I can make like the biggest impact and not the nitty gritty operational stuff.
The team obviously came through multiple times clearly. And it's funny when I'm thinking about how much I work and I don't know, but I do know between 8 and 10 p.m. every night, my partner said no phone. That seems to be like a reasonable window, get back from the office around 8, no phone during dinner and watch one show. And then we could argue if I could go back on or not, but
Right.
balancing is everything. But being conscious of time here, want to understand the future of the industry from your point of view. What do you think the future of sales looks like? Because before y'all are part of evolving it, and you're at the forefront. What's next?
Right. So there are a few trends. First is obviously work from home or work from anywhere, right? We're going digital, right? It's like COVID has been like kind of like a shock treatment for the world, right? It did accelerate, so inside sales, but now it's like whether we like it or not, whether they think it's good or not, right? And there are obviously mixed views. This is here to stay, right? It's not coming back. So we have like Gong was pretty much everybody or most people were in San Francisco. I don't even know where people are today. Like I still go and but so many people have kind of left. And some of them like moved outside of the city, still in the Bay Area, and some people are in Hawaii, in Vermont, literally, like in Chicago and Texas, right? In Arizona. So people appreciate, we have literally like digital nomads. We're actually, so that's here to stay. And everybody's been like selling it like in person, right? Now it needs to get to these, you could be anywhere. And it's not just a matter of what you want, your customers, the people that you're selling to, right? They're going to be everywhere. So even if you still want to go to like the old, like, let's go to like ball games. I mean, you might still get to do that, but it's definitely not to the extent it was before. So that's current number one, the digital transformation and the flexibility of workforce. Second, everybody's talked about the Great Resignation. We spoke about the notarians, like we mentioned we made a reference to Glenn Ross, right? It's kind of like state of steak knives. This is like changing because the workforce you need, it almost like flipped, right? You need to sell to people. They have a lot of other options. There is shortage of talent, right? And why should people work for you, right? This is like, you need to become the best. You need to make them successful. You need to have like a great environment. So the onus as companies to become like the talent magnet, right? And it's a real challenge because a lot of people don't want like the stress, right? And the frustration and the suspense is often like associated with sales. I mean, we know everyone loves the glory and the winning and everything, but there's also a lot of like stress. And third, this is from a technology perspective. This is what we've been trying to do, right? Is to create autonomous system that takes away the work that you hate, right? Which is like the administrative. You said that, Jared, right? It's like, and even like according to Salesforce, like reps spend like half of their time on non-selling activities, right? It's like updating their forecasts, updating records, sifting through lists, updating managers, one-on-one, pipeline reviews, all of these things, instead of the things that they love, which is like talking with other people, right? Talking with customers, talking with prospects. This is the stuff that they enjoy and what we're paying them to do. So traditionally, like CRM, like as maxed its potential. It's great. A system of records tells you who bought, the phone numbers, their names, their emails, right? But now everybody has them. It's definitely not a competitive advantage, not in a workplace, right, and not in a marketplace. They're a system of workflow, and the new thing is system of intelligence, right? And it kind of like looks at what's going on, automatically understands what people are saying, and then drives action based on that. When you want why people like Gong, or not necessarily Gong, something like Gong, because it does quite a bit for you and doesn't ask you to do anything, right? All you need to do is just get on a call and it does the rest. So it's a hands-free system, totally autonomous, and it'll get better over time. So these three things: digital transformation, the war for talent, and autonomous system, and actually distresses the system and takes the stuff that people hate.
Wonderful. Those are some good insights. And again, conscious of the time, we'll wrap it up with the last question. I think we would love to have one more hour with you, but we'll let you go because you are in a hard stop. So one last question. If you have to drop one name, who would be that one guest you recommend to be on this show next?
Paul McCartney. All right. Well, if you get, I like a good friend of mine, like Andy Byron from Clary, is a great company and great product, and definitely I think it'll be great to get on a call. If you want, I can make the intro.
Wonderful. That'd be even better.
Yeah, we'd love that. Thank you for your time. This has been awesome.
My pleasure. Thank you. It's a pleasure, and good luck and congratulations. And I love your name.
Thank you.
The hype is real.
Yeah. Hi to Israel. Hi to Gong team. We all love your marketing tactics and how you guys.
We love Gong.
Yeah, we love Gong, and I had to get the T-shirt.
All right. I love your T-shirt. All right.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amit. Really appreciate your time.
You.
And all the best with the future of Gong.
Of course. You too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.